Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. We're looking at a really pivotal moment in a developer's journey, the Day 17 React code review. Look, you've been coding hard, right? Features are taking shape, and hey, the application actually runs. But, as we all know, running just isn't the same as running well. So today, we're breaking down a definitive 5-point checklist sourced directly from core React principles. This is all about crossing that finish line, not just with a working app, but with a robust, truly professional one.
But before we get into the nitty-gritty specifics, I want to pose a question to kind of get you thinking. Is your React code actually ready for production? Be honest, it's a genuinely tough question to answer because there's a massive difference between writing code that just happens to compile on your local machine and critically evaluating that code so it survives out there in the real world. We really need to shift to evaluating, not just typing.
So, here is our roadmap for today. 1. The Day 17 review. 2. Fixing unnecessary renders. 3. Untangling useEffect issues. 4. State management and keys. And 5. Prioritizing app accessibility.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the Day 17 React Code Review.
I want you to think of Day 17 as a conceptual milestone. It basically represents that specific moment in a sprint where the really heavy lifting of feature creation is essentially done. You've been heads down, writing constantly. Now it's time for the pivot. This is exactly where we transition your mindset from just trying to make the app work to ensuring it works efficiently and sustainably over the long haul. And this 5-point checklist, it's your ultimate roadmap for making that pivot.
Moving right along to Section 2, fixing unnecessary renders. Let me ask you this, is your app working twice as hard just to display the exact same thing? Because an unnecessary render happens when a component recalculates and updates its interface, even though the underlying data hasn't changed one single bit. Think about it. It's literally like repainting your entire house every single day just because the sun came up. It is a massive waste of resources, and if you're building a complex application, this invisible drain will absolutely tank your performance.
So, before a thorough code review, you're likely sitting on an overworked app. Components are just blindly re-rendering, devouring browser memory, and draining your users' batteries. But by applying our checklist, we transform that into a streamlined engine. By properly utilizing React's tools to memorize data, the app only updates exactly what actually needs to be updated. The whole thing just becomes incredibly snappy.
Okay, next up is Section 3, untangling useEffect issues. Listen, you have to meticulously review your hooks as a distinct chain reaction happening across 3 steps: setup, execution, and cleanup. Are you setting up your data subscriptions correctly in the first place? Is the execution logic pure? And honestly, most importantly, are you providing a cleanup function to wipe the slate completely clean when the component unmounts? Because ensuring absolutely no bugs or memory leaks are hiding in this lifecycle is a huge part of a professional review.
A rigorous code review untangles messy dependencies to prevent those dreaded infinite loops. We've all been there, right? A state update triggers an unoptimized effect, which triggers another state update, and suddenly, bam, the browser tab completely crashes. Well, a proper review stops this chain reaction dead in its tracks. It ensures your effect runs precisely when its required variables change, effectively neutralizing any ticking time bombs in your codebase.
Let's dive into Section 4, State Management and Keys.
State is basically the lifeblood of your React app. And during this review, we absolutely have to ensure our state isn't some tangled mess that complicates the whole application. We want centralized data, meaning is your state actually living in the most logical parent component? We want clean flows, and we want to see 0 tangled props. That means eliminating that excessive prop drilling where you're just passing data down through countless layers of components that don't even use it.
Now, right alongside state, we have to audit our key props. I always like to think of key props like name tags at a super crowded conference. If everyone is just wearing a blank shirt, the organizer, which in this case is React, has absolutely no idea who is who and people start moving around. Reviewing for these unique, stable keys on your list items is totally non-negotiable. If you just lazily use an array index as a key, the second you try to sort or delete items, React's internal DOM structure gets entirely confused.
Because without keys, you're looking at conceptual chaos. React's diffing algorithm can't track which item changed, so it just throws its hands up, tears down, and rebuilds the whole list. This causes terrible bugs and destroys user-focused states. But by enforcing ordered stability with correct key props, we take a fragile, unpredictable list and transform it into a solid, reliable, highly performant structure.
Finally, we reach Section 5, prioritizing app accessibility.
Look, An application simply isn't whole, and it certainly is not ready to ship until it passes an accessibility review, period. It's not a nice-to-have feature, and it's definitely not a tiny sliver you just tack on at the end. Our source checklist puts it squarely as a primary foundational requirement. It is a massive, indispensable piece of the process. We must review for semantic HTML, proper ARIA labels, color contrast, and flawless keyboard navigation.
Because the ultimate goal of reviewing all these specific React concepts, whether we're talking about renders, effects, state, or keys, is delivering an experience everyone can actually use. Code is for humans. If your application only functions properly for someone using a traditional mouse and a blazing fast computer, it's a broken application. An accessible app is, inherently, an optimized, high-quality app.
Ultimately, the Day 17 code review is the bridge between making it work and making it right. It is incredibly easy to build something that functions perfectly on the happy path, but it takes a truly dedicated, structural review of both your underlying engine and your human-facing surface to build a truly solid foundation.
So what are you going to find in your Day 17 review? I challenge you to take this exact 5-point framework, renders, useEffect, state management, keys, and accessibility, and apply it to your own React codebase today. Honestly, you might be completely surprised by what's hiding just beneath the surface of your code. So dig in, review thoroughly, and keep building better.